parents. This is Lucky Mommy, single mom of three teenagers, and welcome to my chaos. When I was a kid, we could start going to summer camp when you turned 8 years old. And I remember my brothers and I would go to the woods and we would have these grand adventures. Well, my sister's the fifth child, and she would go shopping with my mom every year to prep for camp, but she was just waiting and waiting and waiting for the year when she would finally get to go. Her initial experience of camp was waiting for us to get home and hearing us talk about all the adventures and how amazing our experience was. We would swim every day, we learned how to dive, we learned archery, and we went horseback riding, and we lived in cabins with lots of other kids our age. We had these huge, grand camp-wide games of capture the flag, and it was incredible. So we'd come home and we would sit and we would talk and talk and talk for hours until we told her every detail of everything that had happened during that 2 week time. So from the age of 8, I spent weeks away from my family every single year. I went to Camp Pinewood in Michigan for 2 weeks, and then I would go to Camp Wonderland in Wisconsin for 2 weeks. And then when it was time for me to go to college, it was just time for me to go to college. I didn't have a lot of the stress and the anxiety that I think a lot of my friends felt about being away from home and being away from my parents because I'd already had so many experiences doing that. When Grammy joined us to play nanny, the first summer, one of the first things that she did was to start looking into summer camps. And it turns out that where we are now, the kids could start going to camp at the age of 6. So I started sending them to Camp Wonderland right away. Kid one went to Wonderland the first week of summer when he was 7 years old, and then he went for a second week later in July or August. The following summer, kid two and one of their classmates joined to go with them. I've always tried to invite my parent friends and my colleagues to send their kids to camp, and usually people don't do it, but occasionally they do, and it's always a really cool experience for the kids to be able to go together. I particularly try to push my single mom friends to send their kids to camp because camp wasn't just a break for the kids, it's also a break for me. So I would use the time to clean and purge the house, to get rid of their old clothes and their old toys that they didn't use anymore, and then really to kind of shift the house from fall and winter stuff to spring and summer wardrobe. And one summer, my sister and I were able to live this lifelong dream. We'd always talked about raising our kids together, but we've never lived in the same state as parents. So one summer, she came and stayed with us and she brought her kids. We sent 5 of our 6 kids to camp together, and the 6th kid stayed with Grammy, and my sister and I took a road trip to New York, and we had this grand big sister adventure. Some weeks I would send the kids to camp and my fiance and I would take a grown-up vacation to the Cape. And I learned to use the weeks of summer camp as a reset, not only for the kids, but also for myself. It was this great time of productivity and learning and growth. And they were having adventures in the wild outdoors. And I was either cleaning and reorganizing or taking a week of rest for myself. As adults, we don't get summer vacation anymore, and that is really the saddest. But putting myself on their schedule and committing to take vacation when they take theirs is sort of the elementary version of, nap when they nap. It meant that I was able to get real periods of rest and rejuvenation, and they were able to explore the world and learn new skills that I was not able to teach them. We learn to be independent and to function without each other. And I say we because it's important for you to hear that it was hard for me too. It wasn't easy for me to send the kids away. It wasn't easy for the kids to go away, but eventually they got really comfortable with having these experiences on their own. Now, I recognize that a lot of the things that I talk about are more straightforward for me because there are 3 lucky kids. They do things together in the world, and I have less anxiety because I'm not sending one child out on their own. But summer camp is different. It doesn't matter if you have one child or six. Sending them away to camp is an opportunity for them to really live under someone else's rules and learn expectations of different adults for a period of time. They get to have these amazing adventures while they learn about different expectations for responsibility. I remember spending time focusing on human values at camp: friendship, kindness, generosity, and honesty. And it wasn't just about running around and playing all day long, it was about becoming a better human being. And it was also great to have them spend time away from technology. Because we tend to use devices as a distraction, much more so in the summer when there's less structure, summer camp gives them a chance to get exercise, a lot of activity, and spend time in the sun. And finally, if you live in a homogenous community, summer camp is a great opportunity for your kids to get to know other kids from different backgrounds. So, your action items for this week: do some research into summer camps in your area. I recommend starting with the YMCA and Salvation Army. They definitely have camps, and then sort of expand your search from there. Find out about the age requirements and the options for duration. I've sent the Luckey kids to camps anywhere from 5 nights to 4 weeks. And you can figure out what the options are and which one will work best for you. Camp sign up usually opens in late January and early February, so right now is the time to start scheduling and planning. And then once you commit to summer camp plans for your kids, think about how you can use that time for yourself. Whether that's organization and cleanup, like I like to do in the early summer, or quality time with your family or your significant other, or even a mini me vacation, like I like to do later in the summer. A couple of quick tips. One, it's important for you to stay nearby. I wouldn't advise taking vacations to another state or a country unless you have a backup guardian. I have had to deal with emergencies and come and pick a kid up from camp. Don't send anything that you can't bear to lose. They will definitely leave things behind, and they'll definitely bring things home that you didn't send. And then also label everything. It doesn't ensure that everything will come home, but it's definitely helpful to, to make sure that you get more of your things than you would otherwise. My siblings and I had just really incredible experiences at summer camp, and we talk about them to this day. My children have had really great experiences, and they've had some not so great experiences. It really can vary by child and by camp. So I encourage you to try a few different options. And I've really enjoyed inviting my friends to send their children over the years. I can't rave enough about how valuable the camp experience can be for children, and really helping them to learn things that they would not learn otherwise, especially kids who live in the city. So do some planning, do some research, find out what your options are, and start prepping for this summer. If you went to summer camp, or if you sent your children, comment and share your recommendations. Like, subscribe, share, and follow me on Insta at Luckey Mommy. And thank you for joining me in this quest to raise a thriving future generation. I'll see you soon.